All right, so you may remember we had Jory Epstein as a guest on this show. Jory is an NFL writer for Yahoo, and I happened to cross a column that she wrote in the last couple of days in which she says that she's heard that Deshaun Watson is very much in the mix to compete for the Browns starting job. And that could play a role in whether the Browns go outside of the organization or not. I heard Nathan Zegura today. I didn't hear it, but I saw a clip or a headline. As Nathan was on with Ken and Daryl this morning, and he was like, we can't have more than two-guy competition. You got to have no more than a two-guy competition, and I agree with him. We can't. Last year was ridiculous.
Well, maybe they can make another field, and we can have six guys in this.
Yeah, I mean, it was stupid. The Browns don't have a sure thing at quarterback, so you got to have a competition, but it's got to be two guys, in my opinion. Any more than that is stupid. Zegura actually made the point that if they bring in a legitimate contender to start, that either Watson or Shedeur has to go. And if they don't, then it's just Watson and Shedeur, and that's it. I agree with that, too. But anyway, Jory Epstein was saying that she thinks Deshaun Watson is very much in the picture. Here she says, Browns head coach Todd Monken sees promise in Shedeur Sanders, league sources say, but Sanders will not be handed the starting quarterback job. And some sources with knowledge of the Browns' conversations wonder if he'll even beat out the in-house options, which, of course, is not Dylan Gabriel. The questions don't primarily stem from uncertainty about Sanders. They instead stem from a growing undercurrent of belief that Deshaun Watson could make a serious push at the Browns starting job in 2026. We got one more clip here, or comment. Watson due $46 million guaranteed this season, whether or not he plays, which gives the Browns motivation to keep him on the roster. Added a 2027 quarterback draft class that's much stronger than the 2026 group, and there's reason for the Browns to eschew costly quarterbacks this offseason. Deshaun Watson legitimately in the mix. Let me start here, guys, because it would, as much of a disaster as it's been, and as weird a spot as it might put the Browns in if he's good again, it would still be great if he was good again. I'm sick of punting for next year. I'm sick of let's stink for a quarterback. I want the Browns to win football games, okay? So if Deshaun Watson could be a good football player again, that would be ideal. And maybe these coaches to be a coach in the NFL, you got to be arrogant, you got to be confident. You got to believe you can get something out of somebody that other people cannot get. I just find it nearly impossible to believe that a guy who has had 2 ACL surgeries, a torn Achilles tendon, a broken shoulder, has barely played in the last 5 years, and when he's played, for the most part, has been bad to awful. The idea, and as Quincy, with Quincy Carrier on yesterday, he brought up the point that for the second time in 5 years, he's sitting out 700 days, and that's if he plays in week one. I think he said it would be 690-something days, which is, almost 2 full calendar years. I just find the possibility that he could still play at a high level to be almost impossible. But I wouldn't, with the Browns and with the other options, I won't completely write it out. At least I won't completely write off the possibility that they are giving him a legitimate chance to win the job. What say you, Jason?
That hurt his heart.
Chew on that.
Hurt his soul.
No, I can't wait for 10 years from now. We can go back and watch some of the nonsense that we have to say. This is the worst quarterback room in the NFL. It's not debatable. So what do you choose between here? Now, I've said, if you're telling me it's got to be Shedeur or Deshaun, I am Shedeur 1,000% of the way. I don't want to see Deshaun Watson back on the field. What does that prove? What are you trying to get out of that? Where are you trying to go?
The current coaching staff just wants to win. That's all they care about.
I get it. But again, this goes back to what I've said since they fired Kevin. What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to do? Because you said in March that this is going to take a while to dig out of this.
But they also said they should have won more games.
That's
this
what
year.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it can't be both. Which is it? Is it going to take a while to dig out of this? Or do you expect to win 7, 8, 9, 10 games and compete for the playoffs? Which is it?
I don't know.
They don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe somewhere in between. I think with this, let me see if I can unpack this in a way that kind of makes sense. So I think one thing that we got to come to the realization is that the Browns have to have a level of accountability. And what do you mean by the level of accountability? The accountability piece comes from the fact that when you offer a guaranteed contract, when you offer somebody that and you put all your chips in, that's not something that you can just walk away from. And so Deshaun Watson is on this roster because of that ramification of the decision that they made. Mm-hmm. And if you look at it, they even restructured the deal now. So they're in a position where they have to restructure. He has to be on the roster for them to have operating capital. So if you got a guy that's making that much money and you're not getting rid of him, then obviously, is it a long shot? You ran down a laundry list of all the different things that was going wrong with him. Yeah. And that is a good point that Quincy brings up. It's 700 days between. He's done that twice.
This will be the second time.
This is his second stint doing that. Yeah. So if you say what percentage chance is he going to ever get back to what he is, that percentage is low given his history and the time off. However, he's on the roster, and he's going to be on the roster. So if you look at it, because of that cap situation and because of the money, any reclamation projects, the Richardsons, the Malik Willises, or even if you want to go outside and get a veteran or trade for another person, Deshaun Watson is the reason that isn't happening because of he's there on the roster. It's there. So that puts a mark on it. And then
you think it's not happening because of that?
Yeah, I think.
You see, I almost think the opposite, G, because. And I mean, I could be totally wrong about this, but my thought is, if this was all about the future, and you were just going to punt, see what Shedeur can do, and if he plays well, move forward with him. If he doesn't play well, you're going to stink, and you draft somebody high next year. But if you were going to do that, then why not go all in? Just take the massive cap hit on Watson now.
I don't.
They
think
can.
They can't.
They can. That's
right.
I've been advocating that for a year.
They wouldn't be able to make any moves or not much.
So then, at the same time, I mean, I think that it's a mix of both. I think yes, they understand that Deshaun Watson was a mistake given the fact of what he's being able to do, and I also believe that they also think that I need that money on the books so that I can get better at certain other positions and to field a team.
You are talking about putting a quarterback out on the field that the owner said was a mistake to sign.
Yeah.
And that I wrote when he got the Achilles that people in the organization would tell me it's like a black cloud was lifted, removing him.
Now, he does appear to have a nice relationship with Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, he does.
So if Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starter, it's not a terrible idea to have Watson here.
And maybe they'll have so much turnover that the people who want no part of this will.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's the facts. The owner said it was a mistake, and people in the organization say it's like a black cloud was lifted, that he no longer was out there. And now you're inviting that back in. All of that back in.
But knowing the Browns, do you think it's crazy that he could possibly play?
No, I mean, do I think it's crazy that he could possibly play? No, because it's the Browns.
Right.
And they will never admit a mistake and move off a mistake.
But here's the thing about we got to understand is Todd Monken is not part of the old Browns. So Todd Monken and his input into what he's talking about, like you said, he wasn't there. Like, he didn't take Deshaun Watson.
Right.
So for him, he like, all right, whatever y'all was doing before, my job is to go in there and to look at who the quarterbacks are and to believe, okay, can I work with them or not? So, I mean, that's and by the way, I don't think the owner has a problem with Deshaun Watson. I don't think people that show up to people's weddings got a problem with him. I think
Jimmy went to his wedding?
Bro, he's there. Like,
when did Deshaun Watson get married?
Wait, like a year ago?
Yeah,
year and a half? Year and a half ago? I think, honestly...
He was giving away free massages. Come on. Low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit.
He's changed his life. But no, like, why would I think why would I think he has an opportunity is because Todd Monken says, all right, I got to take him at his word. Like, the coordinator came in and said, hey, I wouldn't take this position if we didn't like what some of the options are in the room. And by the way, they still have an opportunity. If they really don't like it, guess what they can do?
Yeah.
Todd Monken can go get. There's other quarterbacks they can go get, right? So if he keeps him on the roster, that I must have to take at face value that he A, thinks he can compete, B, feels he can get something out of him, and C, he's going to be on the roster.
If they don't bring in a legitimate quarterback to compete, then I think Deshaun Watson will have a chance. If they do, if they do, then that shows me they're not really seriously considering him.
To Garrett's point, I think the Browns are going to let Todd Monken choose his quarterback. The head coach,
as they should.
Yeah, as they should. The head coach has to be able to choose his quarterback. Yeah. So if Todd wasn't here for all that.
Right.
If he wants to roll with it, so be it. I'm just telling you, it's weird to have the owner say it was a mistake to sign the guy.
Yeah.
And they didn't really want him. A lot of the people in the building didn't really want him there, and now you're going to run him back out there?
It's weird, but Todd Monken
for 1 year.
Hey,
but Todd's trying to save his job. He could be one and
we
done.
said it. We don't know that Todd Monken how long a leash he has.
Yes.
If I'm Todd Monken, and I truly believe Deshaun Watson, if I'm Todd Monken, that's why I for 2 days have been saying go sign Kyler Murray. Not that I think he's going to want to come here. But if I'm Todd Monken, I'm like, what quarterback is the best quarterback I can have? To me, it's a no-brainer Kyler Murray, and so that's why I would do it. But if they're not going to get Kyler Murray, and he truly believes Deshaun Watson gives him the best chance to win, he's going to play him.
Deshaun Watson's going to be the starting
So,
quarterback.
that's why I try to, it takes a lot of speculation off the books. Because hey, you're a new coach. They're going to move. Obviously, Andrew Berry said that he has an opportunity. He has a large say in it. Todd Monken came in, and he has a new system. He's coached a lot of quarterbacks. He knows what he wants. He's done it all over the place in different places. Guess what? He has an opportunity in free agency, an opportunity in the draft, and an opportunity to see what these guys got. So whoever is on the roster come training camp, Todd Monken must have saw something in him, whether it's Shedeur, whether it's Dylan Gabriel, whether it's Deshaun Watson, whether it's somebody else that they draft. So if Deshaun Watson, and I like it because guess what? I can't tell you what you gonna do based on your past. Now, can I give you an educated guess? Sure. But they don't know what none of these guys are. And I truly don't believe you know what they are until you get those people on the field, learn the playbook, put them in competition and see. And then after you do that, we can start to parse out. But for Todd Monken, he don't know what they are.
How will you guys feel if Deshaun Watson's named the starting quarterback?
I mean, if he's a starting quarterback, that means he went out there and earned it. He would to me, because I don't think it's close. I already said the guy that probably is going to start game one is Shedeur Sanders. Now, if Deshaun Watson is the starting quarterback, it's going to have to be undeniable. Do you know how he's going to have to be cooking? Because the thing is if you do make him, and this is in the background, if you do make him the starting quarterback and he plays well, then are you re-signing him?
No.
Okay, then. So that's
why this feels like a total waste of time.
So, and by the way, if you play him and he just plays medium and gets you 9 wins, does that mean you're going to get a high quarterback?
It's now taking you out of position.
That's another one.
Which is why I keep saying, what is the plan? What are you trying to do? Because none of it makes sense.
I think they're just what I think they're doing is I think they're saying, hey, look, it's going to be open competition. We know who we think we want to play. But competition.
You think they know right now who they want to play?
If you ask me if they got 3 guys on the roster, do they want Shedeur to play, Deshaun Watson, or Dylan Gabriel? I think the answer is Shedeur Sanders.
You think Todd Monken
between those 3 guys?
But do you think Todd Monken wants to go into the season with those 3 guys?
No.
Now we'll see. Now guess if
no, I'm asking you. Do you think he does?
I think at least 2 of those guys. The guy that could be off the roster, if you're looking at it, would be Dylan Gabriel.
You think he wants to? You really think he wants to start Shedeur Sanders?
I think if he came there and they asked him a question and he said, "Yeah, I'm excited about some things he do," I'd have to take him at that.
Who asked him? What do you mean?
When you talk to Todd Monken and he says, "Hey, I see elite playmaking ability,"
right? But what's he going to say? I mean, what's he going to say?
He could
He's not going
say
to say he stinks.
He knew the rules of engagement when he took the job.
Yeah.
He knew the quarterbacks that were on the roster.
he did. So
And
if
he
he
also knew this is probably the only job he was ever going to get. The head coach
So
job he was ever gonna get.
if he's saying he could not say anything. He could be like, well, I haven't seen these guys play.
I don't know. But I would be fascinated to know, fly on the wall, what Todd Monken really thinks of Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Like, does he really think there's a possibility he could turn him around?
I mean, how would you gauge that from what he's saying now that he does not believe what he's saying?
Because nobody's ever honest in public. I mean, these guys are never honest in public. He might like him. He might be being honest. I would like to know. I would like to be a fly on the wall and know what the real truth is.
So
does he think, saying you think Shedeur Sanders might be an elite, has the ability to be an elite playmaker, doesn't mean he thinks he's good enough to be a starting quarterback. That's coach speak.
Well,
It doesn't mean, I'm not saying it means he doesn't like him. I'm just saying it doesn't mean for sure he does. That's all I'm saying.
Well, look, nobody is going to know for sure, right? He's not going to know for sure whether he's going to be what he wants him to be until he gets him on the football field.
Right. All I'm saying is
we're 6 months away from that.
All I'm saying is the Browns had the worst quarterback play in the league last year, and they have the same quarterbacks. Now, for Shedeur Sanders and I guess Dylan Gabriel, it's another year of experience. Okay, maybe they'll be better, maybe they won't. I don't know. The talent around them at the moment is not very good. We'll see what it looks like by the time we get to the draft. But if I'm Todd Monken, I would want another option besides the guys that are here.
Well,
Now, I don't know if there's an option that I would like any more than what I got, but I personally think Kyler Murray is significantly better than the current options.
I think
I would want him if I were him.
I think what he feels is that given another sample size off season, given the things that he wants to run, accentuating the game that he has, he played 6-7 games. He's like, yo, let's go ahead and continue to get better. Let's coach some different things up. And then also, let's bring some guys in around, up front, outside to make the team better. And then I can see where you say, okay, well, I can believe that he can get better and he can be the guy that I want him to be.
But couldn't he get the best out of Kyler Murray, too, when his best is already pretty high?
It goes to your team building. Do you want to build for now or do you want to go to build for the future? I'll give you a case in point.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray is probably better than Jackson Dart. He's probably better at this point than Tyler Shook. The reason why those guys aren't mentioning Kyler Murray is because they have ideas set on the future and building towards things that are ahead of them, not
right.
impact.
So the Browns don't.
But that denotes that we know that they don't like him.
It doesn't mean they don't like him. It just means they don't like him as much as the Giants like Jackson Dart and the Saints like Tyler Shark. That doesn't mean that this is not a 0 or 100.
Yeah, no,
there's shades of gray.
Yeah,
they may like him, but they may not like him enough to say, hey, we're going to ignore any other option.
So if he does,
that's a big difference.
So if he does come, so if he doesn't, does that mean that, say for instance they reach out and they do their due diligence and the Browns make a decision they're not going to go after Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
Does that mean that they like their quarterback room?
No, I don't think so. I don't even think Kyler Murray. It's actually silly that I've talked about it for 3 days because why would Kyler Murray want to come here?
Yeah, it's a two-way street.
Why would he want to come here? He's going to have better options.
The Browns are known as the graveyard of quarterbacks.
Yeah, the Browns are the Jets. Throw the Jets in with
So
them.
what free agent quarterback who needs a good year would say, yeah, I think I'm going to go there?
Right.
Why would you do that?
There was a report today that he really wants to go to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
I said that yesterday.
And if I'm Minnesota, I want him.
This all goes into the calculus.
Yeah.
People say, okay, well, why do you feel like Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starting quarterback? I'm like, well, I'm just looking at the field. I'm just looking at the whole totality.
To me, outside of Kyler Murray, there's not much that has me excited. So I would, outside of Murray, who I don't think is coming here, I'm completely fine with saying, okay, let's see what Shedeur's got this year. Build some more talent around him. Do a good job in the draft. Don't screw it up. And let's see what he's got. And obviously you have more confidence that he will play well than I do, and even Jason has even less confidence than I do. But it's worth a look.
We just have to see.
To me, I believe that Todd Monken could make Kyler Murray a borderline top 10 quarterback, maybe even a bottom end top 10 quarterback, especially if you improve the talent around them. And so that's why I'd want it. I think with this defense, and if Kyler Murray played somewhere between the 10th and 15th best quarterback, which he has done in his career, I think you could be a playoff team. So, again, there's a lot of ifs. I'm not saying it's a short thing, but that's why I'm interested. But I don't think there's anybody else available right now that could play at that high a level. I guess Malik Willis, I'm not buying it. To me, I'm not going to spend the money to get Malik Willis.
It's the money. It's the money on
right.
Malik.
But he's not that. To me, he's not any more of a short thing than Shedeur Sanders.
If the money was equal, I would actually take Malik Willis over Kyler Murray because I think the chance of upside is higher. But the money you got to pay Malik,
right.
what they're saying compared to what you'd have to pay Kyler, give me Kyler.
There's no downside with Kyler Murray because you're paying him nothing.
Right.
Somebody said this, if I always said it, like if say for instance Shedeur Sanders, is as bad as people say, or if they think he goes in 2026 as starting quarterback, he's bad. Doesn't that help the Browns? Because if he's as bad as you say,
right.
You're going to be in position.
But I don't want them to stink, G. I want them to be good.
You guys got mad at me last year because this is exactly what I was saying last year. Everyone's like, no, that's ridiculous. I'm like, that's the reality where they're at. Well, here we are a year later, and by God, we're still talking about it.
I mean, we're
still there.
I understand this got brought up a little bit yesterday. I just want to reiterate. Like, obviously, Kyler Murray is not as good as Lamar Jackson. I'm not trying to argue that in any way.
Yeah.
But everybody said Todd Monken got the best out of Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Even though he won an MVP before he got there.
Yes.
That's kind of silly.
Well, but he was even better with Todd Monken. Okay. He was.
But he was an elite quarterback before he got there.
Right, but he took him maybe to an elite +1, whatever. Right? Another level of elite.
I don't know how Todd Monken has become the NFL's quarterback whisperer in the last 3 months.
It's completely silly.
It's kind of funny.
But the argument is that.
Imagine saying what you're saying now a year ago.
I know that, and I actually agree. But if everybody's saying he can do that, so then what can he do to Kyler Murray, who's already, at times in his career, been at worst like a 10th, 11th to 15th best quarterback.
Yeah.
At times in his career. So, I mean, I know he was hurt last year. Whatever. He missed most of the season. If Shedeur Sanders was Larry Johnson, that's a real football player, was Larry Rabinowitz, we would all be saying go sign Kyler Murray. 100%. I believe that.
I mean, I'm saying it now.
Yeah. But a lot of people, including G, I think, if it was a 5th-round quarterback, and I know the argument is that he should have been higher, and he probably should have been. The consensus seems to believe that that Shedeur Sanders should have been a 2nd-round pick. Okay? And we would look at it differently. But just in theory, if it was not if Shedeur Sanders was Larry Rabinowitz, a Jew from Brooklyn, it's nothing to do with that. I'm just kidding. And he got drafted in the 5th round, and he had a couple of wow moments like Shedeur did, but made a lot of mistakes. We would say, go get Kyler Murray. We certainly wouldn't be saying, let's build around this guy.
Well, I think...
And it's not completely apples to apples, I get it, but I think there's truth to that.
No, I think... I don't care about the name. Like, I started DTR. Like, DTR was a no-name gangster. But he looked good in the preseason, showed us some stuff. I said, okay, well, let me go back and do some research on DTR. And then DTR got an opportunity to play. And you kind of saw some things. I think what enamours me about, Shedeur Sanders is the fact that I do think on the field he can play. Like, that's just now there's a lot of other things that come with it. He may get more attention than the other people, right? But I think that he can play. I think he can play make. I think he is mobility. I think he throws the deep ball nice. I think he does have a leadership quality that his teammates follow. If you take a listen until you say his coach speak, that's the coaches. But from the players I hear, from Denzel Ward to Shelby Harris to Myles Garrett to Quinshon Judkins, those guys, see him as a guy who could be a leader, and they believe that he can be a good franchise quarterback. So to me, time will tell, right? We got 4 months to when they start practicing, and Todd Monken's going to get a great opportunity to watch him play and look at it. So if he is the starting quarterback, he would have earned it, because I believe Todd Monken is coming in without preconceived notions. And if he earns a starting role after the competition with Deshaun Watson, he earned it. Now it's time to go out here and prove it in 2026. But I just think that's what it's about. It's about the new coach is going to put you through a crucible, and he's going to make you earn it. And I don't got a problem with nobody earning it. So if it's Deshaun Watson or they draft Ty Simpson, or they want to go get, even if they want to get Kyler Murray and he decided, hey, go compete, win the job. That's what it's about. And I think anybody who really watches football and knows whatever it is, that's the thing that we always talk about. Competition is king.